got me falling in more times than I can get out. Down in the deep of my mind, I crawl for you and you're always inside. Down in the deep of my mind, how long do I got to keep you, to keep you? Down in the deep of my mind, I crawl for you and you're always inside. Down in the deep
Alright, we are live.
Alrighty. Once again, thank you, Teemu.
Double espresso.
Oh, sounds nice.
We have a proper coffee machine with, so you put beans inside of it, and then you press a button and you get double espresso.
Alright.
So this means that I'm going to have way too much energy. First of all, I have a question for both of you. The questions are going to be different though. So, which one of you wants to answer first?
Me.
You?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
ready.
So, in this hypothetical scenario, we are living in the era of dinosaurs, right?
Okay.
And you get to be a dinosaur, a certain dinosaur for the rest of your days. Which dinosaur are you going to be and why?
Okay, I'm gonna be one of those big fucks with the long neck, and I'm just gonna eat all day and just chill, you know? I don't know what they're called. The one with the really long necks.
Yeah,
So
I know what
usually
you're
eat
talking
grass.
about.
I've never heard of a dinosaur called Big Fuck, but apparently that's a new species.
Yeah, I can probably
Long-necked,
find out.
a long-necked big fuck.
Yeah.
Saurus, probably. So long-necked big fuck saurus, okay?
So look, I'm looking at it like this, right? They are pretty chill. You know,
Yeah.
they're pretty nice. They don't really like disturb anybody. They don't eat them. They're not the bad guy. But nobody fucking disturbs them either, you know? Because they're big enough. Nobody's gonna fuck with that shit. If they do, they're gonna just stomp them with their big foot, you know?
Okay,
So
I like your answer. I like your answer. And you know what? You have actually something in common with those big fucks.
probably.
Your brain is the size of a pea, so there you go. I mean, you passed. It was empty net. I had to score. Mika.
Yep.
So the second question then comes for you. If you have to choose between running or cycling 100 kilometers, which one would you choose and why?
If I have to run 100 kilometers or cycle 100 kilometers.
Yes, but in this hypothetical scenario, you are able to do it like you are able to do it in a like nice manner. So if you do it, you won't die, kind of thing.
Yeah, I would definitely go with the cycling.
Okay, I don't know why is that.
I don't know. I don't like running long periods of time, but I do enjoy cycling.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know any better answer. I just like cycling and I don't like running.
Okay. I have no idea what I'm going to do with this information, but I just wanted to ask some questions. It's time to talk about esports.
Before we do that,
yeah.
I can actually confirm I'm a Brontosaurus.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to put it out there, so
Yeah,
now you know.
Brontosaurus, aka Big Fuck.
AKA Big Fuck.
Yeah.
In my previous life, I was a big fuck, aka Brontosaurus. Now, esports.
So in your previous life, you were as stupid as in your current one.
Probably. I mean, then again, you know, out of all the dinosaurs, I think they were pretty smart, you know. Don't you think?
I mean, the dinosaur you chose literally had the size, like their brain was the size of a pea.
Okay, hang on.
But how many intelligence you need if you just eat and walk? You don't need that much.
Apparently not much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually true. But okay. Oh, holy shit! Biggest dinosaurs had brains the size of a tennis ball. You're actually right.
I know.
Yeah. All right then.
I've been awake in history classes. That's cool.
You went to school?
Yes.
And you still can't write and read?
Well, that's why we're talking here, right? And that's why I have you guys, so you write and read for me. I just comment.
Yeah, so you're just a clown. All right, whatever. Now I want to talk about CS:GO, not dinosaurs. Sorry for the intro.
Yeah, there's quite a lot CS:GO happening right now.
So we're gonna start with ESL Pro League, EU. Then we go ESL Pro League, North America, and then we have Flashpoint, and after that we have Home Sweet Home.
RIP headphone users.
Apologies, and thank you very much.
Apologies
yeah,
to the one viewer.
Apologies to the one viewer. Come on, man, don't be like that. So,
Yes. ESL
looking at
Pro League.
results from yesterday, we had 3 best of 3s. In the first one, the Swedes stopped the Mouse Train, 2-0 for Fnatic. Then we had Natus Vincere killing FaZe Clan's hope of life. And after that, unfortunately, Astralis made OG
New one.
lose again. No, I wouldn't call it ripping in a new one, but it was somewhat one-sided, you could say.
It was, but this actually makes the group. Well, if OG, no, actually, it doesn't matter if OG or Astralis won. It's kind of the same situation. It's just Astralis has a chance to go to playoffs now, and OG doesn't. So
yeah,
it still sets up a really interesting last round, because you have to remember that winning the groups or the group takes you straight to the final, and ending up second and third, you will play the semifinal. So winning the group is actually huge, and we have Fnatic, Mousesports, and Navi all on 9 points. So it's a pretty cool spot.
Yes, and
I just want to comment, because since we don't have that much time for each tournament here, we're not gonna go through every single game, but I really want to point out how well Fnatic are doing right now. The win against Mousesports was super impressive. I don't even think. I mean, Mousesports, maybe they played quite bad on Nuke, which was their own map pick, but the Inferno game, I just think, was a good game in general. And I don't know, I'm really, like, this Fnatic team has been good the whole year, but I really didn't see them being this good. They honestly, if they keep this shit up, they are like the number 1 ranked team in the world, you know? It's.
I mean,
yeah.
I saw the Nuke, and Golden was on fire.
Yeah.
He was very good. Yeah, then because our time is limited and everybody knows the results, let's talk about today's games. So
Yep.
they actually start, all of them at the same time. I guess the intention is that they can't play around with their placements and whatnot. But we have FaZe Clan going against OG. That's if FaZe won. Yeah, FaZe will be dead. No, they do. If FaZe wins,
the winner of this will be in 5th, no matter
Yeah,
what.
yeah, because it's a head-to-head and not.
So
all in all, it obviously doesn't matter too much, but I do think that both of these teams, well, especially OG, I think, still
you
wants
want
to
to
show.
end the tournament with a W, that's for sure.
Sure, and I just want to point out that I think that both OG has 1 win and FaZe has 0. I mean, as bad as that looks for FaZe, and not obviously super great for OG, I still think that both of those teams have done actually pretty well. I mean, I understand it sounds stupid to say for a team that has 4 straight losses like FaZe that they've done well, but these teams are so damn good, and this group is so stacked, and the games have been super, super close. OG has played super close series with almost everybody, so has FaZe. I think FaZe definitely has deserved a win or 2, but sometimes things doesn't go your way, and honestly, it's the same for OG. I didn't believe in OG coming into this, but with some damn luck in a few spots, this could have looked very different. Just want to mention it.
What do you think about odds for this game? It's like 2.5, 2.6 to OG, and 1.4, 1.5 to FaZe.
The thing is, honestly, I think if this game was a deciding game for who goes to the playoff, for an example, I think this is quite fair. I understand you can make an argument for OG being a good bet, but I really feel, again, I want to get like 3 times the money on OG to play on them. But this game being a game that does not matter, both teams are out. I really see it a little bit differently, and I think if you can get something like 2.7, 2.8 OG, I think that's where I put my, then it's a good bet. 2.5 is like a little bit low to me, I think. But yeah, I think if anything, OG is what I'm looking at here as a potential bet at least.
Um, uh, if I'm being honest, I actually, I personally placed a bet on OG because I got 2.9 earlier this morning.
Yeah, I think
so
that's
I took
pretty
it.
good. I think that's pretty good. But I really want to mention that I think so because this game does not matter. If this was a game about who goes to the playoffs, I do see FaZe as a stronger team. But this might help OG a slight bit, which makes me change my mind a little bit towards these odds being.
Yes. Then let's talk a little bit about the second matchup, which is going to be Na'Vi versus Fnatic, and this game actually decides the group winner.
It can
Because
decide.
if Fnatic wins, they win the group. But if Na'Vi
Yes.
wins,
Then
and
Mousesports has to lose against Astralis.
yeah, so it's a bit of all over the place. But from odds perspective, Na'Vi from 1.6 to up to 1.8. For Fnatic, 1.9 to 2.1 ish. So quite even. Na'Vi little bit favored, and I actually think that these odds are quite well on point. It's very tight.
I have to slightly disagree. I mean, obviously it's a close game and the odds reflect that, but I think they are, for my money, they are switched around. I think Fnatic
Yeah, I
should be
was
the
thinking
small
the same.
favorite, not
Yeah.
Navi. I think
Yeah.
anything more than 2 on Fnatic is good. I'm not sure if I would take something exactly 2, like, because I really think this is as pretty much close to 50-50 as you get. I mean, I guess I think Fnatic, looking at their form, Fnatic's form to me looks better than Navi's. Navi struggled heavily yesterday against FaZe, and they did win, but that was definitely on the edge, and they could have easily lost 2-0 yesterday. I have to favor Fnatic slightly, and honestly, I think I will put out a betting tip about this game today. If I can find something like 2.1, 2.2, I think that's amazing odds actually on Fnatic.
Yeah, I think so too. Navi has been struggling with, for the whole tournament. It has been winning the right games, but those wins haven't been easy. They've been struggling with this online setup and their gameplay overall, and I think Fnatic is a favorite here.
I think so. I have to agree with some of the wins that Navi has pulled out. I don't think they are as convincing as Fnatic. Yeah. I do want to mention, however, that Fnatic and Navi did play earlier. I guess that was in the group, the first phase. And then Navi actually won 2-0. But I definitely feel that since that point, Fnatic has gone forward a lot. Fnatic started this tournament quite weak, and they have just got stronger and stronger. I really have to favor them a slight bit. I mean, it's definitely not a surprise if Navi wins or anything like that. Yeah. But
all right, then we have the third series of EPL EU, which is between Astralis and Mousesports. Now, this is the game that makes things the most interesting in my eyes. Astralis is a favorite here. 1.6 odds is where we stand at the moment, up to 1.7 maybe. Mousesports 2.1, 2.2 times the money. I have... so, wait, what needs to happen for us? Astralis has to win.
If Astralis wins, they are through, because then they will pass Mousesports automatically.
Oh, right. Yeah. True.
And in the best case, I guess, Astralis...
Are you sure? Because if Astralis, Mousesports, and Navi are all in 9 points, then they watch head-to-head with all those 3, and not only Mousesports, Astralis.
Actually, Astralis...
But look, okay, listen. So, shouldn't it be like... It could technically happen, I guess, but if Astralis wins against Mousesports, they are head-to-head, obviously, above them. But then they could... How did they do against Fnatic and Mousesports?
They lost against Fnatic and Navi.
Yeah. Actually, I guess it could be a three-way tie where everybody has beaten each other then.
Yeah,
Yes.
then it's round difference, which Astralis has right now.
Yeah, Australis has their own difference at the moment. They're plus
yeah.
25, Navi is minus 9.
Okay.
Mousesports Fnatic plus 16 each.
Now I'm not gonna state this as a fact, but I would assume that it's actually 100%, you know, if there's no like 16-0 games, but if Astralis wins, they will be ahead of Mousesports head-to-head, and then they will be behind Navi or Fnatic, but their round difference would be better since they would have to win to be in that spot.
Yeah,
so I would say, as I
Astralis
see
is
it,
true,
it should,
I think.
yeah, it should, you know, technically, not mathematically 100%, but it's like 99% sure that Astralis is through if they win today. That's at least how I figure this.
Yeah, because
Okay.
in any case they will be over Mousesports. Because if it's round
Yes.
difference, is it head to head, they are over Mousesports, because Mousesports will lose round difference most likely.
Yeah, and if Mousesports then loses, they would have to rely on, I think,
Fnatic winning.
Yes, exactly, because Mousesports won against Navi, so that would make them, yeah, exactly. But with that said, obviously, so this game is super important for both, because basically a win takes you through, a loss is very likely to put you out of the tournament.
Yep.
Either way. So this game is basically decided for playoff. It could play out differently, but that's quite unlikely.
Okay,
This match can either take Mousesports to number 1, or it can take them to be number 4.
Huh. So just a quick then assumptions on how the Astralis Mousesports game is gonna play out. What do you guys think?
This is quite tough for me. I think Astralis has played much better lately than they did early on. Both the FaZe game and the OG game from Astralis were quite convincing. Then again, I don't think the FaZe win was as convincing as you can make it out to be. They smashed FaZe on Overpass, but I don't think that was as much Astralis's, you know, their good play compared to FaZe's bad play. And the Nuke game, I really thought FaZe were the better team than Astralis, and that's weird to say when a team loses. But they just won all the right rounds. Economy-wise, FaZe was fucked all the time. That never happened to Astralis. I think in the gun rounds, FaZe was actually the better team than Astralis in that game. They end up Astralis won on overtime, by the way. So, but I don't think that was as convincing as it might look on paper when you look at it. And Mousesports honestly has been amazingly good. They win something like 6 series in a row, and I think all of them besides one was 2-0. Yeah, it was 6 games in a row, 6 series in a row.
Yeah, it's
dropping one map.
Mousesports have played 8 series so far, and they've dropped 1, 2, 3. No, 1, 2, 3, 4. They've dropped 6 maps in total in 8 series. So
yeah,
it's not much.
So I actually, the only thing, like if this game happened before Mouse lost to Fnatic, I would favor Mousesports. And honestly, I have to look at it as that's still the case. I think the odds have swung way too much in Astralis' favor here.
Me too.
Honestly, and I think Mousesports should actually be at least 50-50.
Yeah, and because the Astralis, they won against FaZe, where FaZe was really competitive against them, maybe even better in some cases. And OG and Alexi B's teams has always struggled against Astralis. Even when it was ends, they always had the biggest trouble against Astralis. So
and Renegades.
Yeah, and Renegades, yeah. But there is something in Astralis play that counters the Alexi B strats. So I don't like put too much faith on that victory either. So I think Mousesports is a slight favorite here.
Yeah, agreed.
Right.
I also want to point out, it's actually, I don't want to like state this as a fact, but it's actually quite astonishing how good Carrigan does against his old teams. Like we talked about this before.
Yeah.
He has something like 6 straight wins against Mousesports. Last time Mousesports played Astralis, they won. It's actually quite incredible. I think something like 7 or 8 out of the last series he's played against his former teams, which are Astralis and FaZe. He has won it with Mousesports, with this lineup. So, no, I think Mousesports should be favored, and I think it's quite ridiculous that you can get like more than 2.2 in quite a few places still. I think most of them actually have dropped down to like closer to 2 as far as I know, but still.
Okay, and from here we move to EPL North America, where we are at the playoff stage. We have 4 teams. We have so the way it's played is that we have an upper bracket final, and then we have a lower bracket semifinal. So today we have the lower bracket semi between Furia and MIBR. The winner of that game advances to the lower bracket final. And then on Friday we have a upper bracket final between Liquid and Evil Geniuses. And obviously winner goes to the final, and loser then faces the winner of Furia and MIBR game in the lower bracket final. So we have 3 best of 3s and 1 best of 5 remaining in EPLNA. So we are going to look at today's game, which is Furia versus MIBR. And looking at the odds, Furia is going in as quite a heavy favorite. 1.5, 1.6, and with MIBR you can get up to 2.5 times the money.
Yeah, I do find that pretty interesting. I just want to point out, it's pretty funny that in the lower bracket thing of this, you have the South American, clearly the 2 teams that have historically been the best South American ones, and then in the upper bracket you have the North American 2 big boys.
Yeah.
So it's quite funny as well when this group was a total fucking circus, you know, with Swole Patrol winning games here and there, 100 Thieves being there and, you know, messing it all up. But we still end up exactly how you would expect it, I think, or pretty close anyway, that the North American teams are well-class teams, the South American ones are like somewhere in between, and then Swole Patrol is lost, you know? It's quite funny how it ended up like that, even though it was so up in the air all the time.
Yeah, I was expecting 100 Thieves to be in the playoffs over MIBR, but
sure.
But
that would obviously be the one. But okay, so Furia MIBR. I think both of these teams, to me, have performed somewhat on a similar level in the groups, and looking like back even a few months, probably these teams are quite evenly matched. I think what makes these odds swing this way is that Furia won the last time these 2 played, and they managed to win 2 maps quite convincingly. Fair to say also MIBR won their map that time around very convincingly, so basically all maps were just stomps.
And it's safe to say that if you look at the head-to-head, the last 8 games these teams have played against each other, Furia won 6, and MIBR only 2 of them.
Yeah, so this is something that I think might even affect the odds a little bit, but I don't think that's fair. MIBR was a train wreck at the end of last year, while Furia actually had a pretty good time. I think now both are doing somewhat decent. Like Furia has dropped off from their peak, but MIBR has picked themselves up from the grave, if we call it that.
Yeah,
so
I would say that the only head-to-head we can look is the EPL group stage head-to-head.
That's fair. But so my opinion here is definitely, wait, is this actually correct? Unibet actually has 2.5 on MIBR. That would actually be very good. Hang on.
Let me see.
It says on HLTV, but that's definitely outdated quite often.
Yeah, I'm on Unibet at the moment. I'll tell you in a heartbeat. As long as this shit loads, Esports and EPLNA, and you can get 2.5.
Okay, so for me, that's absolutely ridiculously high on MIBR. I think these 2 teams are very, very close. I think it's fine that Furia is a small favorite, but definitely not 1.5, 2.5. I believe, like for an example, Pinnacle has Furia as 1.72 and MIBR at 2.13. I think that's fine. I would not bet on 2.13. 2.5, however, I'm going to tweet it right now, because this is not going to stay at 2.5. I can guarantee you that. and that's a value bet without a doubt in my mind.
Yep. Okay. Then anything to add, Mika, about Fury and MIBR?
Nothing to add. As I said in the beginning, it's gonna be pretty close, and 2.5. I'm actually going to put some money on Unibet right now to bet
And
that.
since yesterday we talked about betting, and this is a good point to bring this up, and I want to make this very clear. So for an example, in this game, right, we have 2.5 on MIBR. Both me and Mika agree that that's a good bet. It's good value. But you have to understand, this doesn't mean, I think, that any of us are saying that MIBR is a favorite. This is still a very close game, and Furia, I might even favor them slightly. But you have to understand that still the odds dictate that, it's good, because it's quite a bit over double the money.
Yeah, so basically because the teams are somewhat quite even on paper, but the odds would say it's differently, and because the odds for MIBR in this case are too high, that makes it a value bet.
It's let me put it like this: if you were flipping a coin and you told me I can get 2.5 times the money that it lands on tails, I would take that bet, and we can do it a million times over, and I would earn money, right? So yeah. I guess that's the easiest example.
Okay, then we're gonna turn our heads towards Flashpoint, and we are going into the playoffs today. It's played on a GSL double. No, wait, is this GSL? It's double elimination.
Double elimination, yeah.
Double elimination. So we have 4 matchups, best of 3s. We have Mad Lions going against Fun Plus Phoenix, Cloud9 versus Gen G, Havu going against Chaos, and MIBR versus Hopeless. Out of these matchups, we have 2 of them today. We start with Mad Lions go against Fun Plus Phoenix, and it's safe to say that Mad Lions having 1.2 odds and Fun Plus Phoenix up to 4 times the money, it's quite clear that Mad Lions is the heavy favorite here. And I don't, if I'm being completely honest, I don't think Fun Plus Phoenix stands a chance.
I would never bet on Fun Plus Phoenix, whatever odds they get, because I don't think they have any possibility that they win this.
So I am just gonna catch up because I just put out a tweet about the MIBR game. I definitely think that's great. So I had.
Yeah, we are talking about Mad Fun Plus.
Yeah, I can't disagree at all. I think still I believe Mad Lions is the best team in Flashpoint. I think they will win the whole thing. And out of the teams left, I think Fun Plus Phoenix is probably the weakest. So I can't find any possibility. Usually you can find some kind of argument to be made for an upset, but here it's really, really hard. And no, this should be an easy win for Mad Lions. They also played against each other 5 days ago, and Mad Lions won 16-10, 16-6 that time, and I think we'll see something quite similar here. I don't see any chances, but odds-wise, I think...
Do we have any good odds for 2-0 game in here? Can Teemu check?
The thing is this, right, that usually I'm it's quite hard with the 2-0s. Because quite often, I think teams have like an off map, they do something stupid. But
I haven't seen that from Mad Lions in this tournament.
That is true. I definitely can agree with you on that point. What I can see this far, the 2-0 is about 1.7. Maybe you can find like 1.8.
Yeah, that's not enough.
No, I think like 1.9 plus or something. Then we could start talking. But honestly, I feel like most sportsbooks right now seems to be like 1.2, 1.25 something for the win on Mad Lions. It says Pinnacle is 1.35.
Yeah,
like I think that's
pretty high.
Yeah. Okay, they have lowered it, so it's 1.23. So then I think it's like that's what it should be. I think because obviously the odds on HLTV are there for a reason, because Pinnacle has offered 1.35 earlier.
Yeah.
So then I actually think that would have been a pretty good odds. So, but not at the moment. Most of the sportsbook have probably lowered it to the correct one. So.
Just to point out here, out of the last 13 maps that Mad Lions have played, they won 12. The last time they lost a map was on the 21st of March versus Copenhagen Flames, and they have 2-0'd everybody since then. Their last matchup was against Fun Plus Phoenix, which they 2-0'd. I'm not sure if we should like even go in any deeper on this. It's safe to say that if this isn't 2-0 for Mad Lions, it's a surprise. It's a surprise if Fun Plus Phoenix gets a map here. That's just it.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely it is. It's just not a super big deal if Fun Plus Phoenix can get one. That's but yeah, definitely agree.
Okay, then the second series of Flashpoint for today is going to be between Cloud9 and Gen G. Gen G actually going in as the favorite. 1.7, 1.8 times the 1.6 to 1.8 times the money, and for Cloud9 you can get over 2.
I agree with these odds.
These two, I don't know. Again, I don't really feel the Cloud9 team. They've showed something, but at the same time, I mean, these teams have not. Wait, they have played each other. When?
No.
It's probably a long time ago. If so,
yeah, but not with these rosters.
Oh yeah, they haven't actually played with these rosters. Yeah. That's true. But if so, Cloud9. Both of these teams have won some, lost some lately.
Yeah, this is actually tough, but I actually think I slightly do favor Cloud9. I think I've seen Gen G quite a bit, and I'm definitely not impressed. I mean, the same is true for Cloud9, but I think the wins I've seen Gen G pull through are basically against Dignitas twice, and that's about it, what I remember. And Dignitas with Guardian, the retirement home is not performing, so I don't know.
Yeah, Gen Z last 5 series are only against MIBR or Dignitas.
Oh yeah, that's actually true. That's interesting.
Yeah, they've only get beaten by MIBR and they've beaten Dignitas. So that really doesn't tell much about.
No, sure.
Yeah. So it's hard to predict their form, because Dignitas should be team that they can win and they should win, and MIBR is actually a team that is favorite every time they meet. So we don't have like current information about any other team than those two.
Well, I'm still gonna say that I actually think that Cloud9 is slightly undervalued here. I don't exactly see any betting opportunities, because 2 times the money is basically what they are at everywhere, and that's probably fair. I think it's very close either way. I just think that I would let's put it like this. I think that a 2.1 bet on Cloud9 is kind of fine, but I think a bet on 1.7 Gen G is bad. That's how I see it.
Okay. And I think that's enough of Flashpoint. And we turn our heads to the third or fourth, however you want to look at it, Counter-Strike stuff for the day. And this time we're going to talk about Home Sweet Home.
Which is actually being played right as we speak.
Yes. So yesterday we had quite a lot of Home Sweet Home action.
Well, since we never talked about Home Sweet Home before, really, we didn't discuss it much, right? So we mentioned it, but maybe we should go through, because we did some predictions kind of for the group. So we haven't talked about Group A and Group B that has been played. So maybe we should quickly can go.
Yes, please.
So
please.
I can begin. So in Group A, we had Big winning. I'll just go through the results. So Big won the group very, very convincingly, but that was kind of expected, I suppose. We Big is not a team I would trust to perform, but they are still the big favorite and they pulled through. Spirit ended up second after having some initial troubles. They got smashed by Smash. But they pulled it through and they ended up going to the playoffs. And then Smash and Simon Gaming are the two teams that go out. So I would say this group ended exactly as expected by everybody. There was no upsets at all, actually. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's exactly what you would expect. So
And Simon was really weak. They didn't perform at all.
It was actually it looked like tier 5 CS to me when I watched them play. That's just the truth. But Big played well, and Big actually is a team that I believe has the tools to become a, let's say, top 15. Maybe even in their best days, they could be a top 10 team. They actually have quite a nice. So, Group B is what we have all agreed on being the weakest team or weakest group in this tournament. So, we had Skade, the Bulgarians, win the group after, well, quite the journey, but it's actually quite a surprise as well. I think most of the games in this group were really even. Like, there was basically never something odds-wise anything else than like a 1.7, 2.1 kind of game.
Yeah.
But Skade was still not favored really against anybody besides Singularity. Singularity was quite clearly the weakest team in this group, and we also wrote about it and predicted they would be last, which they were. Then
And
we
they
had
lost a player middle of the tournament also.
Yes, but he did play the games. So.
But it has to have a mental effect of the team if they lose player middle of the tournament.
Yeah, it's not optimal. You already expected to be last in the group, and then you have a situation where you lose one of your players. Of course, it's not optimal. But to end the group, we had Endpoint going up against Ago in the decider match, and this is not a big surprise. We talked about it earlier that Endpoint actually has quite a good chance to go to the playoffs. But Ago was still the team that was favored to win the group. The Polish guys, there's like Furlan, Gruby. Then they have some newer, younger players. But Poland right now, and for many years now, has not been in the best of case or in the best of spots, I suppose. And they lost, and Endpoint moves on to the playoff. And I think this Endpoint team is very interesting. Like Mika also mentioned that he really looks forward to seeing this team. They are very interesting. It's young players, it's new players, but they can definitely perform against even, let's say, some of the top teams in this tournament are, Big, Force, Nordavind, Virtus Pro. I definitely think Endpoints can challenge them. That if they can go the whole way, probably not, but interesting team for sure.
Yeah, and today we have Group C being played, and actually at the moment there is the Movistar Raiders is playing against Yapaleno, and Yapaleno is actually leading 10-3. Please, Janne, do your thing.
We have written a preview about this group today, and we have also put out one betting tip on this on these games today, which is on Yapaleno, which is good because they are in the lead 10-3. So hopefully they bring it home and we can start today with a win for our betting tips, which would be good. With that said, this group is actually quite one-sided, I think. On paper, it should definitely be North who are favored to win. North is, in my books, like miles ahead of most teams in this tournament. I would be very surprised if North doesn't end up basically in the final. Just a second. Had to sneeze. So, North and Sprout are clearly, on paper, the best teams in this group, and it's quite weird because they will play each other in the opening game, which is being played after Yapaleno and Movistar Riders. So, this is very important in the first game because both, like, the two weakest teams plays each other and the two strongest plays each other. So it's a very good opportunity for Yapaleno or Movistar Riders to get themselves into a spot where they can play two best of threes and have a chance at the playoffs. I still think we will end up in this group with North and Sprout going through. It's hard to see anybody challenging those two, but I have raised a warning kind of for Japalenio. I think they have quite good results behind them. It's a team consisting of like Swedish talent that definitely are on their way up, and they could challenge, but the most likely scenario is still that North and Sprout are the strongest.
All right. And it's safe to say that the game between North and Sprout is definitely going to be a very good one.
Yeah.
So looking forward for that.
Yeah, and a few words about Home Sweet Home. We haven't really talked about it in this podcast, but it's a 8-week long tournament series, and each week has their own tournament, which gives $40,000 to the two best teams. Uh, and we are now playing the first week of the tournament series, and then on Tuesday to Friday we play one group per day, and then Saturday and Sunday is the playoffs.
Yeah, and there will apparently I can't say any facts, but from what I've heard and spoke with people, there will be some variety with the teams that are participating each week. Obviously, you can expect that as soon, like for example, now that EPL is coming to an end, obviously this tournament is played in Europe. So the teams that are participating in EPL EU, some of them might be playing in Home Sweet Home in the upcoming weeks. So that's definitely something to keep an eye out too. We are producing content about this tournament every single day. There's going to be a preview article each morning released in Finnish, Swedish, and English on our esportsvikings.com website. So you can each morning at around every morning, let's say 10 a.m. sometime, we release an article about the day's games and what to expect and what to look for. Then obviously in Twitter we try to make sure that we can give out some good betting tips about the games each day, and then obviously produce some content about it too. We will be following this quite closely, as we are one of the partners of the tournament, and it's actually very exciting, very exciting.
Oh, definitely. And I think the upcoming weeks might get very interesting, especially since there isn't that much other CS actually going on. And it's going to be very interesting to see what teams they can actually get a hold of. I mean, I think as much as these teams right now in the tournament are not tier 1 teams, it still makes for an interesting journey, right? And a lot of these teams have some kind of talent, up and coming players. Some of them are teams that used to be better, have fallen off. There's a lot of interesting storylines still going on here, but the upcoming weeks will be very, very interesting.
Yes, and from Home Sweet Home, it's time to turn our heads towards LCS, League of Legends playoffs.
And with that, I will get myself a coffee, and you can talk about League of Legends.
Yeah,
I'll be back in a minute.
this is where Mika gets to open up his mouth and talk a lot.
Yeah,
Because you are the League of Legends man in the house.
yes. So we have two series played this week already, and we will have two more series in the weekend. So lots of LCS happening right now. So we played Tuesday the FlyQuest against GG. We didn't talk about it yesterday because it was 3-0 speedrun, nothing to talk about really. So yeah, still nothing to talk about. FlyQuest just ran over GG as we predicted, and that's it. But yesterday's series between TSM and 100 Thieves was actually pretty good one. I did fall asleep during the last match, the fifth game, but until that it was really close one. Both of the teams won their games. First TSM won, then 100 Thieves, then TSM 100 Thieves, and TSM get the victory in the last one, and they will go through as predicted. But it was way closer than I might have expected. So 100 Thieves really fought for their tournament life, but yeah, wasn't enough this time. But yeah, 100 Thieves, as we spoke, I think Friday, they have certain areas they are very weak. For example, mid lane, and TSM doesn't really play through their mid lane, and it showed in this game because they didn't have the same control against 100 Thieves as Cloud9 did, because Cloud9 just smashed the mid lane and jungle, and they won with that, but TSM couldn't do the same, and they actually played pretty bad, and 100 Thieves really had the chance to get the victory here. But yeah, after all, TSM got their shit together in the last game and they won. But actually, I'm not sure if TSM deserved that victory. They played pretty bad.
So, looking forward from here, we have 2 series played this weekend, right? So we have Cloud9 going against EG and TSM going against FlyQuest. Do you want to talk about these games today or tomorrow?
Maybe we have so much things to discuss about tomorrow because there is so much happening in LEC, Dota 2, CS:GO in the weekend. So I think we should handle this today in a quick manner, and then we don't have to worry about it tomorrow.
All right,
but
sounds good to me.
Yeah, Cloud9 EG, those are the 2 best teams right now in the league. They will go head to head, and as much as I like EG, I think Cloud9 will definitely win this. They will go to finals. They were like so dominant against 100 Thieves and the whole regular season. So I don't see how EG would get victory here. And it's actually pretty interesting, Matt, because EG lineup was built around multiple Cloud9 Academy players. So it's pretty much like the main team against their last year's Academy. So Cloud9 has like something like 8 players in 2 best teams of the league right now. So it shows the academy and the coaching talent that Cloud9 has. So
Clown9 is not a thing in League of Legends.
Yeah, they are in my eyes the best team to gather new talent to league. They are actually pretty much only team that is bringing new talent. The problem in NA is that they are rather buying the talent than producing it. So Cloud9 is different in that case, and Cloud9 has made some good buck with their academy players in the past. So they are producing the talent, and if they can't use them they will sell it to other teams, and yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened with EG, and now let's see how the game will end. But I think it's Cloud9 favorite heavily. I think 3-0 or 3-1 Cloud9.
All right. And how about the TSM FlyQuest?
Yeah, that's harder because both of these teams are pretty close in each other, and they are playing some bad games, some good games, and I really don't know. This is really hard to predict. I don't know what the odds say about this game, but I would say they should be TSM favorite, but I don't know if TSM is really a favorite here. I think maybe FlyQuest can take this one.
Can we return a little bit to the Cloud9 EG game?
Yeah, of course.
I think it's, at least from my point of view, it sounds absolutely ridiculous. And we talked a little bit about this before, actually, or a similar case, I think it was. Cloud9 is basically as big of a favorite here as G2 was against Mad Lions in every single way. So you can get 8.5, probably more somewhere, on EG, and it's also the 3-0 is basically like a coin flip. You get like a 1.8, 1.9. So it sounds to me we're once again in a situation where the bet to EG take at least one map should be a pretty decent one, or would you agree? Like if you get double money?
Yeah, and actually, EG is a pretty high quality team. They can take one map, but I still don't think it's likely. But it's totally possible that they will take a one map. But
Okay,
I think when we watched I predicted the G2 MetLions, I think it was more. Uh, there was more probabilities that the G2 will lose one map than here is.
Okay, sure. It's just with my limited knowledge, it really seemed like G2 should have been a bigger favorite.
Yeah, but NA is Fiesta region sometimes, so there can be that one Fiesta game where anybody can win, and there is always a possibility in any match. Every match has a possibility to be 3-1 in NA because the playstyle they are doing there, but yeah, I wouldn't bet on EG winning the whole series, but I can see it a 3-1 bet going on if you get good enough odds.
I'm pretty sure you can find upwards of exactly like double money on EG taking one map, which I mean it seems pretty.
Yeah, it's always good one because there's always possibility for that Fiesta.
The thing is this too, right? If I compare Dota to League of Legends, I feel even if you have a massive favorite going against a weaker team, one game or one map is basically nothing. Like things happen. Sometimes one team can just snowball away, or the draft is that way, or there's a lot of possibilities. It doesn't really come down to just pure skill or something. Random things happen, and double money like out of 3 games, out of 3 games they need to win one at some point. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Maybe something worth looking into.
Yeah, because one bad choice and you can.
I'm gonna be right back. I need to go pick up our lunch from the elevator.
Yeah.
All right, man.
But yeah. About TSM Flycast, I think TSM has bigger chances of winning the whole tournament or whole league than Flycast has, but in this head-to-head I would maybe give it to Flycast even, because I think TSM's games yesterday were looking pretty bad. I don't think they make big mistakes in a draft, and they are not playing the game correctly right now. They are having big issues with their play. They are having some good things. They had a dominant top lane and jungle synergy yesterday, and that's actually something they need against Vikings. But other than that,
remind me, the TSM 100 Thieves game, didn't TSM go in as a pretty damn big favorite?
Yeah.
And they did win, but it was still.
Yeah, but it was very close, and they were really close of getting knocked out.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but it was there like I think both of the losses were pretty similar. They pick very early game heavy comp, and then they don't do enough things in early game, and they just lost because the game went too far, and that's something TSM has done. Like statistic wise, TSM either wins fast or they don't win at all, and it's like for the whole season. Their statistics show that they have maybe, I think they have one victory over 35 minutes games in the whole season, and like they either win really fast, like 25 minutes, or then they just lose. It's whatever comp they're playing. I think that's why they are playing the early game comps now, because they know that even if they play late game comps, they still lose in the late game because bad decision making. So they are just picking the early game comps and want to play with their strengths. But I don't know, in this best of fives, if you play early game comes, there is a big probability that you will get smacked. Because teams are so good at like taking game to late game. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that's enough for the LCS. We can go forward.
Well, I'm back now, and going forward in this case means that it's time to start looking at shutting down for today. Safe to say that there's a lot of esports happening today. A lot of esports happening during the weekend. Tomorrow is going to be our last podcast of the week, and then we'll catch up on Monday again. Any final words before we go offline?
Well, I can inform you that Jalapeno won with 16-4, so
It's not
our first match of
jalapeno.
the
It's Yapale.
Japalen. Yes, it is. Sorry, I actually. The funny thing is, I always really try to think about saying it the correct way, and I thought I did. But they win 16-4 Overpass. Super dominant win. Clearly good because we have. We put out a betting tip on that, so we're happy for that. But it's actually surprising how one-sided that ended up being, as Movistar Riders is still a pretty well-known name in the CS:GO scene. They have been in some pretty decent tournaments, but this time the Swedes prevail and we bring home the money. So I guess that's how I'm ending this.
All right. I think. Well, Mika, do you have something to add here?
Not really.
Okay, then I think it's time to say thank you for watching, and we will be back tomorrow with more esports to come.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Peace out.
See ya.
Yo, 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 yo.